All right, so if you're wondering from where did I get these files, so Saurabh actually helped me on this. So he's created a basic Express server with Socket.io. So let's just go into that and check what's in there. So I'm already in that folder. So let me switch over to VS Code and close this project as I've moved files. So I have this folder. I've got two folders now. So we have the app, which is the older Expo app, which I showed in the first version. And then we have the server, which is the new uh, Express.js server, Socket.io actually. So it's listening to 40, which is not good. So I'll just move it to 8080. And then simple server IO dot on connection. So getting something from the server, and then I need to check if I'm receiving some data. So first, let's try if Socket.io is working over there. So I'll just save this one and then try to run this server. All right, and let's see. So, okay, so I open this one and then install. All right, so this one works and then npm start. Okay, npm start, it doesn't work. Maybe node index works. All right, so we have the server, I think, connected. So I'm gonna head over to the Expo app and then see, sorry, just put it over here. One of the corners, I guess this should be, yeah, cool. All right, and then let's also open up. Okay, cool. In case you're wondering how the windows are aligning, I'm using an app called Magnet, which resizes the windows. Okay, so here I need to go to the app and then I guess I have everything, so I'll just do. I have some problem with my yarn web, so I'm using sudo. Don't use sudo. All right, so let's see if we have things running. All right. All right, let's go to the Expo app and try to install Socket.io client. So Socket.io client, let's see how that works. Okay, I just hope that this one works for React Native Expo as well. So let's try to use this. Okay, and all right, looks like we're not able to find some dependencies. Let's try to resolve that. Hey Jacob, actually, I am not speaking much. I'm just coding as usual. So, and if there's any critical part, I'm going to just talk about it. But as of now, I'm just trying to connect an Express server with Socket.io, and then I'm gonna go and try to sync things between the server and the client first. And if that's working, then I'm going to sync data between two different clients. All right, looks like the server is connected, and I just created a server, and then I have got socket IO listening at port 8080, and on connection I've got some here connection successful, and then it's emitting something. And am I getting that somewhere? I'm not sure. After connected, okay. So on connection, my other test. So let's see if I'm getting that on the terminal. And yes, we get it on the terminal. So here connection successful, here connection successful. I'm getting that. All right, so got something, and so on connection, let's say my other event. So let's try to send this one from there and see if things work. So I'm going to emit something from here. So on connection, I want to go ahead and so I think there is something just. All right, so I've got the server. I'm going to post something. So let's make it a bit. So let's say new connection, and this is on the server. All right, so new connection, and as soon as we get uh, let's say from server, and then from client. Let's make it from client, and on connection failed. This looks like uh, so. I have a question. I've got a question from Jacob. If Expo Web is by default, yes, it's by default. It's some great work by the Expo team. Uh, I think Ivan and Brent. Ivan is behind Expo Web, so a big shout out to him. All right, so let's see if we have the socket working fine. So emit something from the server on a new connection, and once the server receives something from the client, so let's log it. Received say from client, and then I'm gonna just log this one, and the same thing happens from the other side. That means once the app.js is connected, so on connection, let's say connected, and then I'm going to emit something, and I'm going to emit say from client. I'm going to send a message, say hello, sorry, hello, and then from client. And yeah, this is gonna, and once So yeah, let's try this one first if this one works. So I want to emit something from client on the connection, and then once that is connected, then from client I should get a message on the uh, command line, right? So let's execute this again, and then let's refresh this one, clear this all up, and try to reload things. All right, so yes, so we've got the message from the client. So from client, hello from client, and now we need to try the other way. So on a new connection, so we are sending from server and receiving something over here. This should have worked, but uh, does that work here? So it looks like it doesn't. So let's see here. So let's put that in set timeout so that it might be happening. So let's emit that after a while. So set timeout, just to set timeout, and so function of a handler. All right, and then after say the current event loop. So let's try to do it here. Say add a 10 millisecond timeout after that. So then it should emit here, and then on app.js on event. Okay, I don't have a handler for that on event. Uh, okay, so probably I should add that, and it might be working already. So let's just undo all these and try to do the same thing without any change. So I'm just gonna use this from server, and then let's save that and see if that works. So yeah, connection is made, and then data is also received from the server. So this works perfectly fine. All right, so the basic connection between client and server is established. Before I go and refactor this into proper module, let's think about how, let's check what exactly we want to send and receive. So I don't have React DevTools installed, I guess. Sorry, React Redux DevTools. So let's try to install that Redux DevTools so that we can watch the changes on the Redux store. All right, so Chrome, let's see. I already have it. This item has been disabled. Okay, this was long ago. All right, so I think this should be enabled now. I'll refresh this, and then do we have the dev tool somewhere here? I'm not sure. So this should be working fine. But anyway, um, hmm, okay, it's enabled. I think I need to do something somewhere else, like to enable Redux web tools. How to include that? So this is installed as an extension, installation and configuration. All right, so this is there, but basic store. So we have to include this for basic Redux. We add this one. Okay, let's try this. Create store. So where is the storage file? So create store after reducer. I need to add something. Okay. All right. So something over here. Let's see. Okay. And do we have anything else? Note that we loaded state augmented by Redux state for TypeScript advanced store. Okay, I think this should work. I'm not sure. Let's see. All right. Extension is, let's try I'm not sure about. Okay, I've got something. So this is Redux DevTools. Okay, cool. I've got something. And this doesn't work well, but let's see. Redux DevTools. It's out of the page. So let me just scale this up and click on this. And okay, we've got something. And the current state, can we pop it out? Select instances. Okay. Pin. Does this work? Check. Block. No. Okay. So what else can we do? I'm not sure. Okay. Just a second. All right. Okay. I'm not gonna go. Okay. Let's see if we can actually dock it at the bottom. Yes. Okay. So it has popped out. This is what I was looking for. So I'm gonna keep it here. And it's been really long time I used Redux and DevTools. So I'm gonna keep it somewhere here. Let's see, I'm not sure. Okay, cool. All right. Okay, so the current state is something like this. And what I'm looking at is whenever there's a change in the shared state, I want to emit that. So for the sake of this side project, I would just go ahead and create a global socket. So I'm going to move all these into a file and then uh, export something. So on connection might be needed. So let's see how we can do it. Probably move to a new file. And what's that called? Where is that file? Sorry, let's move to a different file. Is that here? Okay, cool. Nice. So I'm gonna try this one. So okay, so export default socket, export default socket, and uh, okay, cool. So once this is connected, I would like to do something. So on connect can be okay used multiple times. So let's leave all these, and I'm gonna use this sometime later. So let's import that once. Socket. I would definitely keep that or move that to a better place, but it's okay for now. I'm gonna refactor that later. So got the socket and also the connection is still working, all good. So since I'm exporting that socket object, I can use that again somewhere else. And this would be imported. I mean, this will be executed only once because this is all here. I'm not executing that multiple times. I'm just importing it. So it wouldn't create multiple copies of this socket connection. So the next import would just return me this from the cache. So let's try that. So if I include it somewhere else, say if I want to include it after, say whenever there is a dispatch of action, or maybe whenever there's a change in the Redux store. All right, so let's go to the Redux store and see if we can import it there. So let's import socket here. So import socket from this / socket. Okay, and here what I'm going to do is, so whenever there is, okay, so here we are actually logging things, right? So how do we go about this? So on every change, we are getting the data. So like whenever I click on say add player, so I get all the current state right here. So ideally they should go via middleware so that whenever there's a change, I get a notification of that, but I'm not sure at this point how to connect this with the socket, right? Okay, so I just assume that socket is connected, and whenever that's connected, I'm just gonna go and emit things. So let's just try it here. So whatever is the state, I'm gonna just emit it on the socket. So socket.emit store changed. Okay, and then uh, so I want it after every change. So just to test it out, I'm gonna just type store changed, right? And then I'm gonna pull up the server, and where we have, say, from client, I'm gonna copy this one, and then say state changed, state changed. Sorry, store changed. State change is a better word. State changed, and I'm gonna receive it here, state change, and then just paste it here, and then we'll see if this one works. So whenever my Redux uh, reducer is called, it's gonna log on my server. So this is the node server, and I have refreshed it. All right, and let's see. Okay, cool. So state changed. Let's see if that happens. So I'm just gonna close this one. I don't need the dev tool for a little while, and just gonna use this one here. Put it over here. Sorry. All right. Okay. And when I click on add player, so state is being changed, and that's being sent across on the server. And cool. So this is nice. So when I click on add pair again, so this one works. So I'm getting something on the server. So the first version, what I'm gonna do is send the same thing to a different connection. All right. So let's just pass it on to all the connected clients. How do we do it? So let's see. Ideally, it should go via middleware so that it happens in the end. So let's add a middleware as well over here. So I have not been doing much of Redux, so let's see Redux middleware, how to add that. And so how to add a middleware. All right. Okay, so I can, okay, apply middleware. Okay, cool. So I'll just go ahead and apply middleware. Okay, apply middleware, and then gonna just add it after the create store, and over here just apply middleware. Okay, and then a function say logger just to test things out. Crash reporter. Oh, sorry, crash reporter. What is that? That's just logger is fine. And then just gonna test function logger. Let's see if this one works. So logger is this function. Okay, and this logs something, right? Okay, let's test this one. If I'm getting the logs, and I'm gonna remove my console log and socket from here, and it looks like you're passing several string answer. Okay, I'm not sure about this one, so I'll just comment the Redux DevTools for now. Okay, so now as soon as I add player, I'm getting something dispatching a next state, and I'm interested in next state that I want to send over the socket. So next state is this one, and I'm just going to use that and send it. So let's change this logger to maybe something like emit on socket, emit on socket. All right, and then use emit on socket. Okay. All right, emit on socket. So I don't need this. I need this one. I need this one. Cool. And what do we need to do? So I was using emit method from the here. So I'm gonna copy this, and I'll remove this one. and emit on socket middleware actually emits things. So I'll just use store.getState and to state changed. All right, so now we have we have used a middleware to send the changes to the server. So let's see if this one works. So I'm gonna pull up this one and say add player. Okay, I'm getting that here on the server. All right, so this state change is going and it's being logged on the server, right? Cool. So what do we need to do next? Next, we need to just emit it to different all the connected devices. All right, so I'm gonna open up the state and let's see. So are we maintaining, so state changed and I'm just gonna sync that. So emit it on all the other sockets. So socket IO emit all sender. Okay, okay, emit cheat sheet. Okay, I think the second one is all right. So just looking at the code. All right, so I'm assuming that this entire socket is going to be just for one game. I mean, all the sockets for just this version. So right now my goal is just to sync things across devices. That's it. And I'm not thinking about like the game. I mean, multiple users. I'm just going to sync everything to all the connected clients. Right. So I'm gonna use this one socket.broadcast emit and all right. So if I use socket.broadcast.emit state change, so it's gonna send the same thing, send the emit to all the clients except the current one. And I'm also gonna log it on the server so that I can just check it. All right, so great. So state changed. So let's just test if this is being received at all the locations. So cool. So if I refresh this one, I get something. So let's name it from server for the time being because I've already from server I've implemented that on the front end, maybe in the store, sorry, in the socket.js file in the front end. So if I receive something from the server, then it's gonna just log things for me. So I'm going to in the sorry server index.js. So when the state is changed, so emit from server so that I start seeing things, right? So let's open two instances of the same application and then open debugger for both of them and say add player. I click on add player over here. Then this side should log, right? So add player So this one doesn't really log anything. So let's see socket. Okay, I think I need to restart my node application. So I'll just use nodemon. I hope nodemon is installed on my system. It's not. I just install this one for just use node for now. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna refresh this one and then this one, both the instances, and just clear up the console and click add player over here. So this one sends something on the server, and then on the other side, I'm just receiving the same state over here. All right, so the shared state. Okay, cool. So whatever I have on the other side, it's also received this side. Now all I need to do is take this state and put it back in the Redux store. All right, so let's see how we can actually create a new action and then emit that. So let's see. So this part is done. I'm just going to replace the current. So let's go to, sorry, let's go to the store, okay, and then create a new action called as, let's call it say replace state. So I'm gonna just use this replace state. So this just replaces the entire state with something else. And so return whatever is the payload. Do we have a payload here? State and action. So action dot payload. Sorry, action dot payload. All right. So this one replaces the entire state with something else. Replace state is a new. Okay. And I'm gonna emit this one once I receive something. So I can do something like when how do we, so we have this store, and if I want to dispatch an action on this store, how do we do it? So let's see what create store returns. Ideally, it should be done via middleware or something. I'm not sure, but yeah, let's see if I can check what's in create store. Does it return me a dispatcher? So create store is over here, and then store.dispatch I can do. Okay, let's take that in a variable const store, and then just export default store, and then we have socket dot socket dot on. Okay, so once I receive something from the server, just patch it over. So once we receive something, so let's open socket and then on from server. Let's do the same thing over there. So okay, so once we receive something from the server, so we can do store dot dispatch, and then this, we've got the data type is replace state, and I want to replace it, and the payload is the data, the complete data, right? So whenever I receive something from the server, just go ahead and replace the entire state with that, and this should do the trick. Okay, so let's see if this one works. So okay, cannot trees. Okay, okay, so I'm actually sending something from the server which I shouldn't. This should be named something like, so let's take it like replace state. Replace state. If I receive say replace state from the server, then only do that. And on the server side, server index, if I get something like state change, so let's name it state change. That's a better word, state change, because that's what is being sent. And then here as well, we are going to use state changed. Sorry, not this one. Whenever the state is changed, sorry, yeah, okay. So we're going to use state changed. So I'm going to replace the state, correct? So let's restart node again because I'm not using nodemon. All right, so refresh this one and the second one, and then see if something works. All right, so add player adds it here, and it magically also syncs the state on the second line, and that is what I wanted. This is so cool. All right, so I'm just gonna clean things up so that it makes more sense. So Abjs, I'll just remove my render blocks. This was just for the purpose of debugging. And yeah, so now we have two different boards. I'll just remove everything else. Okay, so first board and second board, just clear things up. And yeah, I am going to close this one as well. Now I have add player. I'm on the first tab. I click on add player and I see more players are added, and I go on the second tab, it's there. On the second tab, I'm gonna go and roll dice and play. So this one is moved out here, and if I do it again, so it's actually changing. So what's happening? It's going in loop. All right. So it's syncing, and the Redux change is again applied. So I need to skip the event of the and the last action. So otherwise it's gonna go in loop. So the same action is being dispatched from here, being received here, and then it's changing, and then the same thing is being dispatched on the other side. So that's the loop what we have caused. So I'm going to open my store.js file, and we have to ignore uh, the action if action dot type is not equal to what. So state changed. So we have to emit everything other than the state changed itself. Okay, cool. So save this, and yeah, so let's say add player. Add player works well, and I'm switching tabs, and once I do roll dice and then click on play, so this one comes out, but it is still going in loop somewhere. I'm not sure why. Hmm. Okay, let's see what's happening on the server. All right, so there are two conflicting states. Let's refresh it one last time and add player. Okay, I'm just gonna make changes just from the first one. So play this one. All right, so play is being synced, right? Hmm. What's happening? So let's see the log, and let's also have the logger on. So let's we need the logger. Or we can just put logs and emit on socket. So emit on socket, we have this one. So let's try to log whatever is. So log, so action dot type. Let's see if you're getting this. And I'm just gonna add something. See the log and clear it up, and then add player. So replace state is being called over and over again. So this is going into loop. Okay, so let's try to trace it out. So I need to look for replace state and not state change. If replace state is being called, then stop it. Okay, cool. This should do the trick. All right, so I think the logging has stopped. So refresh this one, and then add player. Works well. And then on the second one, I'm gonna, or the first one itself, roll dice and then play. All right, so this works, and this is syncing well. On the second one, I'm going to click play, and this one is being synced on the other side as well. I'm going to click again, and then this syncs really well without any problem. All right, so I keep clicking this one. I keep switching tabs. Doesn't matter which tab I am on, and this just works just well. All right, this is amazing. This is so cool. All right, so let me just reiterate over things. I think I'm gonna pull up the diagram which I drew earlier. So I've got a client, I've got a server, and we are sending something from the client. Like whenever there's a state change, we are sending it to the server, and that server is working as a router, and it is emitting the same change on all the clients. And once it receives, uh, we have hooked that up with a Redux action, which actually dispatches uh, an action called replace state, which replaces the state. The same thing can happen from any of the clients. So if this client changes something, it goes to the server, syncs there, and then the same thing is emitted and synced on all the devices. And that is what is happening between these two tabs. Just for clarity, I'm gonna pull these two side by side so that we know that it's like two different systems. And I'm gonna refresh this one and this one. And let's say add player on the left side, and it automatically appears on the right side. And I click on roll dice and then play, and it just works. Since it's on my system, it's very fast. It's in microseconds. As soon as I click, it's synced on the other side seamlessly. And it doesn't matter like if I click this one or the other one, and the socket syncing is working really well. All right, cool. I think that's all for now. And also, this is not the best practice. As I mentioned in my last part, that we're not going to just replace the entire state. We're going to just patch it using JSON patches so that the emits are smaller and it's not like huge chunk. But if our shared object is really small, then probably just we can replace the entire shared object. So let's quickly see what our store looks like. So we have shared and local. Right now, I'm replacing the entire thing. Ideally, I should just edit sync this part. So I'm in the next video, I'm going to talk about like how we can just do this one. If this object is small enough, then probably we can sync the entire object every time. But I think this is gonna grow because the number of people playing might be 4, and the players or pawns what they have will be 16. So that might be a little uh, bigger object to sync every time on the wire. So, and that's why I suggested of using JSON patches. JSON patches is like little action we can, which is like Redux action, but this is a standard which can be implemented on the server and also on the client. So probably we can use that, but for the sake of this side project, I'm going to stick to just replacing the shared object every time. uh, let's see. I think there are more videos coming in, so stay tuned. Thank you so much, and I hope I complete this. I'm not sure how much I'm going to complete this one, but it's fun building board games like this and connecting using socket and all those things. So yeah, uh, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys soon. Bye bye.